It's your boy Hi-Fi Vega, and today we're going to find out how good or bad this tiny subwoofer is. So let's get to it.
Yeah, I just want to be the greatest.
Let's start by opening it up and see what it comes with. Seems pretty simple. Looks like there's a subwoofer in here. So we've got a little package here on the back. Looks like we have the mounting feet. Inside we have a cable for the bass knob. You get a nice little plastic bass knob here. Nothing special, but if it works, that's all you need. Alright, I will say this is actually got a little bit of weight to it. Seems like it's all aluminum. I want to look at it a little bit. The sub looks pretty nice. Definitely a nice little underseat sub situation here. You've got a nice logo. I like the kind of the dented or the ball peen hammered face here. Coming here, you can see your power, remote ground, a 20 amp fuse. You have your low level inputs, your high level inputs. You have a phase control here. You got a low pass, a bass boost, and an input gain. And then your remote control, power and protect. Tells you here 100 watts RMS power output with 400 watt max. 100 watts seems totally reasonable with a 20 amp fuse in there, so I think we can get that. But with that being said, I say we go ahead and listen to this before I tear it apart and see what it looks like on the inside. One other thing I didn't mention is it is an 8-inch 4-ohm subwoofer. So let's hook it up and see what it sounds like. We're going to do a listening test in studio now so you can hear it. I don't have anything solid to set it on, so I'm going to have to hold it so you don't hear the chair rattling or the test bench rattling. But I can say after listening to it, I think it sounds pretty good. I mean, actually it sounds very good. The number is from 50 hertz to 180 hertz, I believe. 80 hertz works for this well as a sub. 50 hertz will work, it'll play low, but it kind of limits itself, so it's not going to get as loud as you might expect. As you can tell from the demo, you really only hear a noise out of this when it is at maximum volume on the gain knob. I think it sounds pretty good, and the only time other than that you heard noise is when I had to rest my hand against this seat to kind of give it a break, because this thing is a chunk. It does weigh a little bit. What do you say we open it up, see what it looks like on the inside, and then I throw it in the Trooper and we see what it sounds like in a big SUV. Obviously that's not ideal. It would be better under the seat of a car. Let's open it up, let's see the guts, and then we'll get some in-vehicle testing going. All right, now that I've got it open, you know your boy's got to do a dyno. It says 100 watts RMS. Let's see if it lives up to that. Falls short, does better. I doubt it's going to do better, but we're going to see what it is. So I'll get you a close-up of the amp dyno board, and we'll see what kind of power this amp puts out. We've got it hooked up to a 4 ohm resistor. We're starting at 15 volts, so we're going to give it the best chance to make that 100 watts that it claims, and we're going to hit it with the 40 hertz track. So let's see what it does. $90 watts, 102 watts, 4.3 ohms, 14.9 volts. All right, now let's see if we can get it to go into clipping. I did notice when I was playing this that I could not get it to go into clipping. I think it maybe has some kind of protection circuit in there, because when you can literally have it full volume and it does not sound like it's clipping. So let me just crank the gain up even more, and we'll see what it does. All right, here we go. There we go, 115 watts clipping, 14.8 volts, 4.3 ohms. Not bad, not bad at all. It actually did what it said on the box. Pretty impressive for a $100 sub in an aluminum case, if you ask me. All right, I'm back with my final thoughts on the H Yanka Underseat subwoofer. I do have some pros and cons. Pros, it did its rated power. It's rated 100 watts RMS. It beat that, so that's very good. Another pro, the aluminum case. It's very solid, and I just think it's a pretty high quality case for a $100 amp sub combo. Another one of the pros is that it actually sounds pretty good. Now on to the cons. It is light on bass, so for you guys that typically watch this channel, you're probably not going to want to put this in your vehicle as your main bass subwoofer. That being said, who I think this is really for is somebody that has a factory system and the mid bass is just poor, because if you listen back in the video, you can tell how much fuller the mid bass sounds. Whenever I turn it up, and that's playing at around 120 hertz, so it opens up that mid bass and gives you a more full sound. That's who I think this is for. I think that this little subwoofer, the H Yanka 8-inch active sub, at $100, I think it's a very good value. Are you going to be impressed with the output? Probably not. I think that this output is pretty light, but what it will do is fill in some mid bass for you, or it'll just bring you some bass overall where you might have had none. And at the $100 price point, I think that's all you can ask of it. What do I think about this? Yes, no. What's my final verdict? I think if you want to add bass to something that does not have bass, your wife's car, you want better mid bass, I think it's a 100% buy. If, on the other hand, you want to actually have real bass, like you would with a 8-inch subwoofer in a ported box, this is definitely not going to get you there. So it's a no buy in that situation. With that being said, I think it is a quality product at a fair price. And the last two things I've tested from Hi Yanka, I was impressed with for the price point, and this is no different. So I'm excited to see what else they come up with, and I think it's a brand to watch for somebody on a strict budget. With that being said, I hope you do like these kind of videos, and if you are not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button, because I do all kinds of nonsense, but I try to keep it as fun as possible. So I hope to catch every single one of you on the next video. I'd like to thank all my Patreon supporters, but the $6 or more members get a special shout out, and that is 2001 Monolithic, Gene Nava, Joaquin Juarez, El Fuego Audio, Travis McClendon, Brandon Hanna, William Berg, Boxboy Audio Sound Solutions, Jesus Tires, Dennis Cromwell Jr., Scott Dilbeck, D. Stewart, David Kozlik, Scott McCord, Matthew Tolberg, Cornut, Trucker 9000, Bobby Burkett, Kevin Lautner, James Childers, Baba, Thomas Marshall, Living Loud with Andy, Neil Nato, Chris Cogburn, and Old School Stereo. For as little as $2 a month, you can join the Patreon team and get exclusive Patreon-only content, including a monthly Patreon-only hangout stream. It's a really good time. You guys are missing out, and if you want to join, check me out at patreon.com/hi5vega.